and they got to let it fly. So Mama gives him a scouting report before every UAlbany game, and he better be listening because Mom knows basketball.
Well, Thelma's Great Danes are in their road purple uniform, Syracuse in the home whites, and the orange with the basketball first in the hands of their Hofstra transfer point guard, Jaquan Carlos. Lampkin, who is a good passer out of that high post area, has his pass kicked. Syracuse will keep with the shot clock at 20.
It's always a luxury to have a big that's a good passer. Forces you to have to guard. Can't just leave your big inside the paint.
Now his production in recent games has dropped off. He's been dealing with a lingering back issue. Jaquan Carlos in the starting lineup gets the first 2 points. Off of the Davis bucket, Amari Marshall, Byron Joshua, DeMar Langford Jr., the former Boston College Eagle, who has played here in this building a couple of years ago. Getting the start along with Kenai Briggs and Justin Neely. Quickly back the other way, Jaquan Carlos wraps it around. Lampkin couldn't handle the pass. Great backdoor look. And the reverse layup by Amari Marshall.
That's the game plan for UAlbany. They want to try to score in the first 8 seconds of the shot clock. And if they don't score in the first 8 seconds, then they want to try to score in the last 8 seconds.
And you'll notice in the starting lineup tonight for Syracuse, 5-star freshman Donnie Freeman not in there. He did not practice yesterday. He is available tonight, but we don't know any more beyond that. So he is on the bench at the moment, standing up, applauding for his teammates, and hoping to get into the ball game. There's Freeman averaging nearly 13 points and nearly 9 rebounds a game. That's 5th most in the ACC. They certainly could use that production here tonight.
Well, he's already had 4 double-doubles in his young career. Outstanding talent. Top 10 recruit in the country a year ago. Outstanding get for Red Autry.
Davis has his pocket picked by Langford. Great Danes quickly the other way, and it's Byron Joshua. The grad transfer from Alcorn State gives the Great Danes the 4-2 lead.
Joshua is the key. He's a quick point guard. He's going to push tempo every time he gets it. Syracuse has got to get back and corral the basketball and set the defense and make UAlbany play in the half court.
Chris Bell, who has been in a shooting slump lately with a running hook shot. Three ball banked in by Kenai Briggs.
Kenai Briggs is the best shooter for UAlbany. He has no confidence, no conscience rather, and a lot of confidence.
Yeah, 46% on the year from beyond the arc. Now he plays good defense against the freshman Elijah Moore. Post entry too tall for Lampkin. That's the 3rd Syracuse turnover in the first 2.5 minutes.
Can't go under the screen. You got to chase him over. Freshman mistaken. Hey. Briggs with the shoulder shrug. Yeah, doesn't matter. Counts as 3.
Did you ever bank in a 3 at Wake? You're offended by that question, aren't you?
No. I didn't care if it went in. I wasn't shrugging. I was happy.
So
it counts the same. Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I did. Hey, more than once.
Foul inside will send DeMar Langford Jr. to the line. As mentioned, he played 3 years at Boston College, scored 643 points in the ACC. Last year, transferred to UCF, and played in the Dome a couple of years ago. And as his coach Dwayne Killing says, great attitude, always plays for the team, never for himself.
And he gives you a physicality and a versatility on the defensive end of the floor, and he's physical enough to get to the glass like that. A ton of experience in big games, and he's familiar. He's been in this building before.
Last time he was here, he was teamed up with his brother, who is now playing professionally over in England, Makai Ashton Langford. And for that trip, their parents made the drive from Worcester, Massachusetts, but they are presumably watching tonight from home.
Syracuse just got to play.
Well, right on cue. Over the top, the alley-oop and the slam by Jair Davis.
They tried early to run their offense through Lampkin in the post. Wasn't successful. I think they're going to try to run it more for Davis. Davis also has more of a size advantage inside.
Joshua pulls it back out. Marshall. Step along the baseline, and the pull-up from the southpaw is good. No need to use the glass that time for Kenai Briggs.
He's physical, and he loves that step back. Creates a ton of space for that nice move, lefty J.
Bell makes it. He has been in a shooting slump, only 4 points last time out at Notre Dame, when as a team, Syracuse did not make a single three-pointer. They got their first here tonight.
That's a great sign. See Bell, see one goes through. He's shot 42% from three a year ago, off to a slow start, only shooting 26% behind the arc. Great to see the first one go down. Davis going up and away, weak side with the dunk. Got a great game here. Orange down 2. UAlbany's coming to play.
You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Back in Syracuse, the Orange hosting the Great Danes from UAlbany. And Syracuse with its second-year head coach, Adrian Red Autry. And you know this, Randolph. You are a peer of Red Autry. He was such a great high school basketball player coming up in Tollentine in the Bronx that he had national media attention back long before high school players really got that sort of attention, and he came here and had a marvelous 4-year career as point guard for Jim Boeheim.
He did. He and I are in the same class, and I grew up knowing about him before I ever got a chance to play against him, and growing up, and he's got a chance to play against him before college in the D.C., New York basketball games we would have. He was always a big guard. I marveled at his size, and then we met another guy out of Memphis named Penny Hardaway that was bigger than he was.
Syracuse with the basketball down by 2. They have trailed by as many as 5. Shot clock down to 3 as Davis spins and banks it in. He has 7 points to lead all scorers. Or 6 rather, excuse me.
Great job by Davis, being patient. The double team isn't coming. They're planning on double teaming Lampkin and leaving Davis one-on-one. If they continue to do that, just be patient. If he keeps scoring like this, he'll force rotation. They'll have to start trapping him.
Briggs gives it up. Marshall for three off the back iron. Redshirt junior from Montclair, New Jersey, unable to give UAlbany the lead once again. Here's Elijah Moore. Had a couple of big games before struggling last time out. Gets his own miss and sticks it in. My guess at Notre Dame, once you put up 20-plus games, all of a sudden the opposition looks at you differently, right?
Well, and particularly now, he's going to draw more attention because they're missing a couple of guys in J.J. Starling and Freeman right here early in the game. So he's shot to the top of the scouting report.
And so after Moore got his first 2 points, quickly back at the other end, a chance for a three-point play for Marshall, who was a third-team All-America East Conference player a year ago. And you see Donnie Freeman rather, checking in for the first time. So that's good to see. Again, it was in question.
Yes.
And so now about 5.5 minutes in, Syracuse gets its leading rebounder and top freshman on the floor.
You'd like to see Syracuse start attacking the rim. There's no shot blockers on the floor right now for UAlbany, and they're settling for a lot of pull-up jump shots. Just take the ball to the basket. Your bigs don't get it. They'll clean it up on the glass.
Carlos played well, had his best game last time out against Notre Dame. And by the way, that foul was on Davis, his second. And so he has been replaced by Freeman, who's got the basketball now. Got to go to work with 5 on the shot clock. Rising up. Lampkin Amir Lindsay with the miss. Well, one area where Dwayne Killings harped on during their shoot-around here in the Dome last night, where he thought his team would have an advantage, as Bell puts it back up and in, was between the tops of the keys. He thought the Great Danes were going to be faster in that part of the court.
And they have. It's shown itself early in the game. Syracuse is caught in these mismatches. Sometimes they're not matching up. They're trying to keep Lampkin matched up on a non-shooter, but in transition, he just has to match up on a body.
Marshall, step back three. Tough shot. Out of bounds, untouched, back to the orange.
It's a settle shot there for UAlbany. I think the size, you look at the length of Lampkin being inside, you tend to settle a little bit. But now he's out of the game and the lineup's a little smaller.
Yeah, Peter Majstorovic, the 6'8" freshman from Serbia, into the game. Bounce pass to Freeman, who has it poked away. Another orange turnover. Byron Joshua, a purple blur to the bucket, but he missed the layup. Moore, no look. Majstorovic gets the roll. Freeman did a nice job to lay off the ball as it hung on the iron.
Great job by Moore there. Didn't settle for the mid-range that time. Got to the basket, forced rotation. Majstorovic with the easy lay. Syracuse now with a smaller lineup, ability to switch, but they got to communicate.
Hey! Good drive and dish. It results in a layup by Langford. Catch and shoot. Moore, no. Marshall pulls down the rebound. Well, we have seen it so far tonight. One thing UAlbany will do, they'll turn you over. They've got 2 of the top 3 in the America East Conference at forcing turnovers. Amari Marshall and Byron Joshua both average 2.5 steals per game.
Well, they're creating some turnovers already, and they're playing at a pace. Syracuse has 4 turnovers here early. They want to get this game out in transition. This is the style of pace they want to play. They feel like their bench is deeper. Multiple guys averaging double figures. They feel like their bench is deeper.
And they're getting healthier. They have only 4 players who have gotten into all 11 games so far this season, but they are rounding into a healthier roster. Carlos misses. Marshall Kicks to the corner. Back out to the perimeter. Neely into the paint. He passed it into the Syracuse bench for the first turnover of the night, committed by UAlbany. The Orange with a 1-point lead over the Great Danes here at the JMA Wireless Dome. Coming up at 9 Eastern over on ESPN, the 30th annual Jimmy V Classic rolls on with the second game of the doubleheader. Number 14 Michigan squares off against John Calipari in Arkansas. A great night for a great cause. To donate to the Jimmy V Foundation, go to v.org. And when you mention John Calipari, that
during the media timeout, a three-point shot by Syracuse at 16:10 was reviewed. It was seen there was a foot on the line. It will be 2 points. So 1 point is coming off the board.
Lee Cassell comes in out of nowhere. So you got the explanation there, new thing in college basketball. But anyhow, DK grew up in Amherst, Massachusetts, huge Minuteman fan, and he was a ball boy back in their heyday when Coach Cal was there. And then did wind up playing his sophomore year as a walk-on at UMass. Coming out of the timeout, beautifully set up, and they've got Freeman on the board.
Great call by Coach Autry. Coming out of a timeout, when you're struggling, as Syracuse is, having lost 4 of their last 5, you got to start playing a game within his game, designing plays and being creative on your OTAs and your baseline out-of-bound plays. Great call there by Autry.
Traveling violation against Justin Neely, the 2022 American East Conference Rookie of the Year. Joining the great Jamar Wilson, as well as John Yachty, Joe Cremo, and Jonathan Beagle, who's now at Richmond, as UAlbany players who have won American East Conference Rookie of the Year. Lucas Taylor has come into the game, and he connects on his first shot attempt. So where's Syracuse going to go tonight and going forward for buckets, especially with Starling sideline?
Well, you just saw Lucas Taylor's a guy. He averaged 14 points a game, and he's also familiar with this league. Committed to Wake Forest and was there his freshman year in college, so he's familiar with this league, and coming in with a reputation as a 3-and-D guy is more than capable of filling the shoes and providing some offensive spark.
Well, Carlos averaging only 4.5 points per game. He's able to get to the basket. He has shown the ability to score in his previous stop at Hofstra. And coming off his best game so far in an orange uniform, his first 2 points come on the driving layup here tonight. The freshman Donnie Freeman has provided a spark coming off the bench tonight for Syracuse. The Orange in the midst of a 6-0 run to open up their largest lead of the night. We were talking going in to that timeout. Where's the offense going to come from? And almost immediately, 3 different guys score buckets.
The first thing Archie told us yesterday at practice was he needs guys to step up.
Well, Freeman with a block shot, and then the Great Danes commit a foul.
And this is a game where Freeman he won't get overwhelmed physically, just to use his length and athleticism as he comes across and blocks that against the glass.
Well, it is something how he shot up the recruiting rankings as a senior. Paul Biancardi repeatedly told me last year, you're not going to believe how much better he is now to become a top 10 recruit, the highest rated recruit at Syracuse since Carmelo Anthony. Majstorovic scores for the rebound and pulls it back out to Carlos. And here is Freeman.
I saw Freeman early in his career when he started at St. John's College in Washington, D.C. before he ended up at IMG Academy as another freshman, more with the reverse lay.
I figured you'd get that St. John's College High School,
Washington,
D.C. Catholic League.
Yeah, gonna let it.
Thought so.
DMV guy, not.
Nealon, 6 to shoot, into the lane, loses his balance, and the foul called against Syracuse. Adrian Autry not so sure.
I thought Majstorovic did a really good job of moving his feet, being physical. Neely's a handful because he's a post driver. He attacks you in the post like guards do on the perimeter. He's going to turn and face you and drive you. Got to stay in a stance and slide. And Sturvis just one step too late, or maybe it's a little too physical there.
Well, Dwayne Killings was expecting for Justin Neely to be the centerpiece of this UAlbany team 2 years ago, coming off being the conference player or rookie of the year. But he's missed the better part of the last 2 seasons with a knee injury. And with that, he got out of shape. He's still not 100% back to where he was in terms of basketball shape, but what a wonderful piece to have back for Coach Killings and the Danes this year.
Oh, you can't say enough about his play and what he means to this team. As a center, he's just a nightmare to match up with. But he has his hands full tonight with the length and athleticism that the Orange are going to throw at him.
Kyle Cuff off the bench with a 3. Another thing that's been a common theme for the Orange this year in the backcourt. Chase down the ball. Majstorovic has it. Great look, and Freeman with the flush.
The bench of the Orange has come in and really lit a fire to this team. Everyone's contributing. The defense is active.
The only starter on the floor right now for Syracuse is the point guard, Jaquan Carlos. The 3 by Cuff a moment ago, his first made 3 of the season. As I was starting to say, one of the common themes for Syracuse this year, at 4-4, they have lost all 4 games against power conference opponents. They have beaten all of the mid-majors, as the bucket is made by Kwachek. In their 4 wins over mid-majors, Syracuse has only won by an average margin of 6 points per game. Majstorovic continues to develop and offer production off the bench.
Red Austrians challenged this group, and he's challenged all of his guys. I asked him who needed to play well. He said everyone, and everyone's playing well right now. They're active, they're rebounding, they're pushing, they're sharing the basketball, and they're making shots.
On cue, Cuff with his second made 3 on a nice look by Jaquan Carlos.
They've got a lineup out there now that's allowing them to be active. They're not playing with a traditional big. Lampkin's on the bench, playing with their 4 men. And they're giving them more mobility and ability to guard ball screens better.
Using that 220-pound frame, DeMar Langford gets wherever he wants on the low post.
You've got to recognize the matchup there. You got to go help.
Drive and dish. Joshua. His coach says he's the backbone of our group. He buries the big 3.
Doesn't lack the confidence. You got to engage the basketball. They're going under some of these screens, daring them to shoot. The guards will take those shots.
And here's another one of the Great Danes who has missed time. He missed the Georgetown game with a right shoulder injury. And that's really the only time the Danes have been blown out so far this season. Foul called on the drive along the baseline by Kyle Cuff.
The Oranges picked up their intensity on the defensive end of the floor. Majstorovic creating the hustle. Look at the hustle, diving on the floor. The Orange scrapping their way to an 8-point lead here.
ESPN Plus content is now on Disney Plus. Bundle subscribers can stream live events, original content, and studio shows from ESPN Plus. Start streaming now. With Randolph Childress, I'm Doug Sherman. UAlbany trailing by 8 to Syracuse 32-24. Syracuse has made 5 of its last 6 shots. They've gotten great production off the bench as Eddie Lampkin comes back in. What do you see? You spent many years as an assistant coach at Wake Forest at your alma mater. What do you think about the lineup combinations and how they can be used specifically tonight against a smaller team like UAlbany?
Well, they came out in the first few possessions and tried to play through Lampkin, and it didn't work. They were forcing the ball. They turned it over. Then they go to their bench. Freeman comes in. Majstorovic comes in. Now they get more athletic. They get faster. They're able to set their defense. They're forcing turnovers. They're getting out. They got 16 points from their bench. It's great production.
Chance Westry now making his 3rd appearance, making his dome debut. The Auburn transfer now getting healthier. And Adrian Autry going deeper into his bench here late in the first half. And now an 18-3 advantage in bench scoring for Syracuse, and it's been done with the starting point guard largely on the floor, Jaquan Carlos. Although he's on the bench now, he's got 5 assists, setting up all of that stuff.
So that's his strength. His vision he averaged over 6 assists at Hofstra. Coming here, they're expecting more of the same. He, as the rest of the Orange, has gotten off to a slow start on the offensive end of the floor. And when you lose your best offensive player, that tends to happen. But they're coming out full of energy. The ball's moving. Quick turnover here.
Amare Marshall goes end to end off another live ball Syracuse turnover.
Amare Marshall, 13 preseason American East player. And he talked to us about his name.
Yep.
So we know his mom's watching, and everyone calls him Amare.
It's Amare.
And it's Amare.
Although I tell you what, both he and DeMar seem unfamiliar with the legend of Randolph Childress.
But I reminded him quickly, only telling him that I would shoot him out of that zone. That was all I said to him.
He just looked at you like, look at this old man.
And I am. I told him I'm every bit of that.
Terrific ball movement. From the perimeter, Taylor found the big man Lampkin, who never came down with it. The touch pass leads to a dunk.
Really good passer for a big. You got to force him to become a scorer when he gets the basketball. He really has his head on a swivel, looking for cutters and shooters at all times. Great pass by the big man.
Davis gets beat to the bucket. Kasper Kwachek with his 2nd made field goal, the transfer from St. Joseph's.
Kwachek is knocked down a 3. He's known as a pick and pop big. You're not expecting him to put it on the floor. Great job there, driving the closeout.
Out of Long Island Lutheran High School, which in these parts is better known as where Kyan Anthony is playing this year.
You know who the head coach is?
No.
John Buck. You know where he went to school?
Syracuse.
Give you no.
Wake.
There you go.
Taylor has it rattle out. Great Danes trying to make a push. Down by 8, 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Marshall to the corner, wide open Joshua. Lampkin taking up space in the lane, and here comes Kyle Cuff, 1 man to beat. Draws the contact and is able to finish. That's what a little guy needs to do in transition against the big guy.
Definitely get into his chest, cut off his angle so he can't block his shot, initiate contact, and finish.
Kyle Cuff's career high is 13 against Chaminade last year. He's zeroing in on that in very short order here in the first half. Kwachek fouled on the putback. And he will head to the line to shoot 2 after this timeout.
Kwachek goes to the glass. Lets you know he's more than just a 3-point shooter. 10-point game here for the Orange.
Kevin, John, thanks so much. Back here in the Dome with Randolph Childress. I'm Doug Sherman. 3:49 remaining in the first half. And John hit it right with the size advantage and the bench contributions, especially by Kyle Cuff, led by their point guard, Jaquan Carlos. Over the last 10 minutes, they've been much more connected. They've already got 10 assists when they are averaging 14 per game so far this year.
Everyone's aggressive, and you want to tell your guards, attack, continue to attack and be selfless with the ball. And there's no shot blockers. They don't have anyone to alter their shots inside. So drive it. When rotation comes, you spray it to the corners, and guys are getting open looks. No rotation comes, they're finishing at the rim. So great first half so far by the Orange.
We had a chance to chat a little bit with Kyle Cuff yesterday. Kyle Cuff Jr., his father, you may remember, was a really good player at St. John's back in the day. And he played here in the Dome, played against the Orange 3 times. And I asked him, did your dad ever tell you any stories about when he came here to Syracuse, what it was like to play in the Dome? The 2 words he said was, crazy, cold. He got it right.
That's what I thought yesterday when my plane landed. But no, he brings so much experience. And credit to him for staying. I mean, didn't get a ton of playing time a year ago. And then, you know, when there's so many guys would jump in the portal, and it's not a starter this year, but just shows you he gets an opportunity here. Rewarding Coach Autry for his trust in him and allowing him to come off the bench and contribute.
And remember, he started his career at Kansas, but his time with the Jayhawks was undermined by a devastating knee injury that until this year he wasn't fully back conditioning-wise. Big to big, taking advantage of that size. Lampkin the assist and another dunk by Freeman.
Great job by Lampkin, just using his size, playing bully ball in size, waiting on a double team. And I don't know if UAlbany has the ability to play him one-on-one, but going forward, I don't know why you would double him. His vision is amazing for a big guy.
UAlbany is 6-4 on the year, lost in overtime on Saturday to Boston University. The triple by Amir Lindsay. He's excited to be here in the Dome. His girlfriend is a student at Syracuse. He's been here in the stands, but until last night, he had never walked on the floor. And truly, Randolph, when we said hello, his eyes were as big as saucers.
He's excited. He just hit his first shot. Freshman guard comes in, and he's a shooter.
Young man out of Framingham, Massachusetts, feeds it inside to Langford. Good shot fake. Cross check to the corner. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Lindsay short on the jump shot. Offensive rebound, Neely. Another offensive rebound for the Great Danes, and another opportunity from the corner mill. Finally, Chris Bell able to secure it for Syracuse.
Got to find Langford to put a body on him.
Tough shot by Bell.
They're going to look to attack Lampkin in ball screens.
Lampkin hedges, tries to recover. They get it inside to Neely. No whistle. Neely's got it back. Shot clock under 5. They've got to recognize. Knocked out of bounds. No call, and it's a shot clock violation. The ball goes back to Syracuse. Well, coming up on Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the Heisman Trophy presentation, the 90th annual event. The finalists are Oregon's Dylan Gabriel, Colorado's Travis Hunter, Boise State's Ashton Genty, and Miami's Cam Ward. Chris Fowler hosts for the 31st straight year.
Who you got?
I'd like for it to be Genty, but I don't think he's going to win. I think it's going to be Travis Hunter. What do you think?
I agree with you.
Elijah Moore on the reverse, the freshman out of Cardinal Hayes High School in the Bronx. Storovich back into the game for Syracuse. Tough drive down the lane. Missed shot by Briggs. Here comes Syracuse. Carlos always with his head up. Finds Bell in the corner. Good closeout. Bell goes by him. Moore. Carlos from wide open. No. Marshall looks to go end to end, but then we've got a whistle and a foul. And Marshall is holding his head as he is slow to get up.
Jaquan Carlos just does a great job pushing tempo, great vision.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Head hit the knee, it looked like, of Carlos. Marshall stays in. Just under a minute to go in the first half. Briggs, nothing but net.
Wide pin down or pin down is a big part of UAlbany's offense. Got it. Autry wants to get 3 hands there, the passer, the defender, and the big screener.
Like you said, bully ball inside for the big man.
They got no answer for it. Not feed him. When he's in the game, you got to feed him because on the other end, they're attacking him. You got to reward him for his effort that he's giving you on the defensive end of the floor.
There's the smaller 6'6" Neely trying to get the shot over him. Shot clock comes off, and Syracuse can hold for a final possession of the half, up by 10. Seconds, 2 seconds. Lampkin gives it up. Bell able to finish with 0.8 of a second remaining in the half. Plus the foul.
We saw them working on that late shot clock play yesterday in practice. Great execution, and again, when Lampkin has the basketball, you got to make him a scorer. Great cut by Bell. Chance for an and one to extend this lead to 13.
Now, curiously, a very good free throw shooter. Last couple of games, Chris Bell's gotten a little sideways. He has missed 6 of his last 8.
Well, shooting goes hand in hand when you're knocking down threes, free throws at all. It's just a confidence thing.
Shot would be good, but it is off the iron by Amir Lindsay. Well, the bench for the Orange providing the spark here in the first half tonight. Elijah Moore, part of that. Orange with the lead over the Great Danes. We send it back to the studio in Bristol. the beautiful campus of Syracuse University here in central New York. Krause College in the foreground. The JMA Wireless Dome lit up in the back. 47-34 our score. He's Randolph Childress. I'm Doug Sherman. You know, you can say it. It's okay.
You couldn't help but throw that in, right?
They show me that beautiful shot. I got to describe it. All right, we started the broadcast talking about Eddie Lampkin. And while he only has 2 points in that first half, you could still feel his physical presence out there in a lot of different ways, right?
Yes, we talked about him controlling the paint. It's not just scoring. He only has 2 points. But his offensive rebounding and his passing is key. I mean, he gets this handoff here from Carlos, uses physicality, just overpower guys inside. There's little resistance. Look at the vision. Touch pass here. Spreading the love to Davis. You come in double. Too late. Freeman gets the lay here. Look at the vision here. Late shot clock. Giving Bell and one to close the half. We talked about him early. He has to continue to man the paint. And it's benefiting everyone because now everyone's clogging the lane. He's drawing extra help, and everyone's chipping in.
10 Syracuse players played in that first half. 9 scored, led by Kyle Cuff. Off the bench in only 5.5 minutes. He was perfect. 10 points on 3 of 3 shooting. Hit both of his 3-point attempts. And this is a Syracuse team that's on the year among the worst in the country shooting the 3 ball. They didn't shoot it particularly well. Only 2 for 8 in that first half. But Cuff made those 2. UAlbany with the basketball first. Got a couple of paint touches to find the wide open 3, and the Great Danes misfire. Justin Neely left it short.
Neely needs to knock that shot down if UAlbany wants to get back in his game, because he's trying to pull Lampkin away from the basket. He's got to knock down a couple of shots if he wants to do so.
Carlos, Moore, Bell, Davis. This is Lampkin, the 5 starters here in the second half. Once again, Donnie Freeman coming off the bench tonight for the Orange. And again, J.J. Starling, the second leading scorer in the ACC at over 19 points per game, out for another 3 to 5 weeks with that broken left hand. Amari Marshall in amongst the trees for the reverse layup.
Coming out aggressive, attacking the basket. I thought he settled early in the first half. Shooting threes. Good to see him come out the second half and attack the rim.
Here's Chris Bell, thought about it. Now uses the screen from Lampkin, who rolls. Bell pulls up along the baseline, no.
Amari Marshall didn't settle here. Just driving, using the rim for protection with the reverse lay. They need to get him going.
Joshua, Neely, Langford, Marshall, and Briggs, same starting 5 in the second half of the Great Danes in their road purple uniforms. Syracuse with a numbers advantage if they push. Carlos keeps the dribble, able to lay it in.
I think Carlos can do that more. You're playing him to pass. His vision's great. He sets everyone up. And I think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, looking to score, and then it'll make it even easier for him to pass. They need guys to score the basketball to help out, particularly right now with J.J. Starling's out.
Marshall is fouled. You know, Carlos is capable of scoring. Twice in high school at Thomas Jefferson High in Brooklyn, he scored 90 or more points in a game. 92 and 90 in consecutive games. I'm not kidding.
I need to see that. That's impressive.
I don't know the level of competition.
That's impressive. One player?
He's the all-time leading scorer in that school's history, ahead of Sidney Green, Jim McMillan, Phil Sellers, Leroy Ellis. 3 first-round picks. He's the all-time leading scorer.
As a 6-foot guard, wow. That's impressive. I mean, if it was 2 or 3 games, it's impressive. But 1 game?
Yeah, he put 90 on Transit Tech. Put 92 against Teachers Prep. So again, I have no idea the level of play, but in a, what's that, a 32-minute game?
It couldn't have been high. Let's just be clear.
But still.
No, it's impressive nonetheless. I mean, scoring 90 in a warm-up before a game is tough to do. In a warm-up line. But that's impressive with his vision, because he's such a big-time passer and setting his teammates up. So unselfish for a dynamic scorer or capable scorer like that.
And he was a 2-time All-CAA defensive team member during his time at Hofstra University. He's got the basketball now off the missed free throw. There's that vision you're talking about. Another easy two for Davis, who's into double figures with 10.
Just run the court and he'll find you.
Briggs, no. Elijah Moore has it. Nicknamed Choppa. He gives it up. Briggs picked his pocket. And he is fouled by Carlos, who got back to stop that easy layup.
Yeah, just run the lane. Davis right down center lane. Carlos rewards him for running. Even more there. You want to give it up and go run. Running in traffic. Didn't see Kenai Briggs strip him.
Women's college basketball coming up, the Shamrock Classic, Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern time. It's a star-studded affair between Connecticut and Notre Dame. We don't have enough time to list all the stars who are going to be in that one, Randolph, but I know Hannah Hidalgo, she's hard to keep your eyes off of when she's on the floor on both ends.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites to watch. Just flat-out scores at a bucket, but that'll be a great game. Must-see TV there.
Yeah, she averages over 4 steals per game. On top of scoring, what, 23, 24 points a game? Elijah Moore from the corner. Jair Davis rips the offensive rebound away and lays it in.
Davis also provides a level of physicality and interior scoring, allowing the Orange to just control the paint.
One and done for UAlbany again. Here comes Carlos. Calls for the screen, gives it right back to Lampkin, who attacks and lays it in.
Carlos was trying to tell Lampkin to just post up.
Briggs has a step on Moore and puts it in.
Great job there by Briggs, rejecting the ball screen. As a guard defending it, you got to force it into your help.
Albany led early by 5, used a 7-0 run. But then the Syracuse bench came in, gave a spark, and the Orange have been up largely by double figures since. Carlos has been in the middle of most of it.
Continue to get downhill to the rim. We talked about it. There's no shot blockers. No reason to pick your dribble up. Get downhill, force rotation. If it doesn't come, just lay it.
Carlos gives up the foul. Got a piece of DeMar Langford.
Nice pick and roll action here by Carlos and Lampton. Syracuse coming out strong here, extending their lead in the second half.
We need your help. I need your help. We need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love. And it's very important. We need your help. I need your help. We need money for research. It may not save my life. It may save my children's lives. It may save someone you love. And it's very important.
It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. And everybody on that screen right there, everybody in this building, including my partner,
yes,
has been impacted.
We have. My wife has been impacted, and I've told this story before. She's had breast cancer twice, and the second time it came back, I was just distraught. And I'm watching TV, and I see our very own ESPN's Holly Rose story, and I see her strength, and I'm a wreck because I got to be strong for my wife and my kids, and you always envision the worst, particularly when it comes back. And seeing her strength, and it made me just say, hey, I got to be positive. I got to be strong for my wife and my children. And if Holly, you're watching, I owe you a big hug when I see you.
Yep.
Thanks for your strength and encouragement. The Childress family's indebted to you.
With Randolph Childress, I'm Doug Sherman here in Syracuse. The near steal by Byron Joshua, but it'll stay with Syracuse at this end, 57-41. The Orange led by 13 at the intermission, and this is shaping up to be the first lopsided win for Syracuse this year. They beat Cornell by 10, but otherwise all these mid-major opponents have been able to hang with Syracuse. Why has Syracuse been able to get some distance so far tonight from UAlbany?
Well, they haven't won a game since J.J. Starling's been out. And right now, they're defending. It's forced guys to step up. They're playing, they're getting minutes. We talked about Cuff. He's only averaged 4 minutes a game. He surpassed that in the first half. So sometimes it's just about getting an opportunity, being challenged, and this bench and all of these guys are stepping up and they're answering the bell.
And 9 different Orange have scored so far. Chance Westry got in and played a couple of minutes in that first half as well for Adrian Autry.
It's amazing what happens to your confidence, too, when you know you're not coming out of the game.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, you think about if I make a mistake, you get tentative. Sometimes with an injury, the positive can be that you're going to go to your bench and it's going to be like, hey, guys, you're going to play.
And you know what? This is the second game in a row, including the loss at Notre Dame over the weekend, where Jaquan Carlos continues to look more like the version of himself that they expected when they got him out of the transfer portal.
Yes, he's starting to get more comfortable. A lot of times you want to tell these guys they're leaders at other schools, and they come to a new school and they take their time to adjust, and you just want them, to get aggressive from the jump. You have so much experience. Doesn't care if you're new or you're not, just do what comes natural to you and lead.
Carlos, Davis, and Lampkin, the 3 guys who fit that bill, fit that profile for Syracuse this year, all played well here tonight.
Freeman came out last possession and knocked down a 3. And
Elijah Moore on the beautiful feed, and the bucket by Peter Majstorovic. Timeout, UAlbany.
The freshmen are having an impact here. Freeman won possession before. This time, Moore drops the dime to Majstorovic. Syracuse is trying to run away.
Back in Syracuse, where J.J. Starling, averaging nearly 20 points per game, is sitting out his third straight game since breaking that left hand. He was coming off a screen in practice before they flew to Tennessee last Monday, and he knew immediately. He said he heard a snap. And so he's got another 3 to 5 weeks before he is scheduled to possibly be back. Said the biggest problem is that he does a lot of things left-handed. He eats left-handed, he drives left-handed. He said when he started driving right-handed last week, he was afraid he's going to crash the car.
Well, it's sad to see him out. I mean, it's just difficult to replace your best player. 20-point game scorer. I mean, there's so many stars around the league. You look at Notre Dame, Marcus Burton's out, and Louisville has been devastated with their injuries as well. And it's just fortunate for him, he gets to come back, and it's just a hand injury, so he'll be able to keep his conditioning up throughout. So when he gets cleared, he should be able to have an immediate impact.
Which leads us into what we have seen out of Syracuse tonight. Not in the first 5 minutes of the game, but since. Great balance, good sharing. This man's been in the middle. Carlos has himself 8 assists and distributing the ball, and everybody's contributed in different ways.
Yes, everybody's having the ball's moving. They're getting a lot of ball movement, body movement, a ton of assists. They have 16 assists on 28 baskets here.
And they've dominated the paint as well.
And that's the key. We talked about it. You have a physical size advantage. They're plus 30 right now in the paint.
Chris Bell at the free throw line. Coming up at 9 Eastern over on ESPN, the 30th annual Jimmy V Classic rolls on with the second game of the doubleheader. Number 14 Michigan squares off against John Calipari in Arkansas. A great night for a great cause. To donate to the Jimmy V Foundation, go to v.org. I'm fascinated by Michigan and its ability to play 2 7-footers now who are both doing very, very well. In this day and age, you are hard-pressed to get one big guy on the floor at any one time. How are they doing it as well as they are?
Yeah, they're playing so they're better players, and share the basketball, and you don't try to force threes. Golden is just such a force inside on both ends of the floor. Hadn't lost a game. They've won 7 straight since they lost to the Deeks. The second game of the season in Arkansas is looking for a big win.
Yeah,
they're 7-2 and need a big resume boosting win. So it should be a great matchup.
That's scheduled to tip off at the top of the hour over on ESPN. Yeah, Vlad Golden transferred to Michigan from FAU, part of their great team a couple of years ago. And then Danny Wolf, who is an all-Ivy League player, also averaging 12 points per game, a 7-footer for the Wolverines. Donnie Freeman. There's nobody on the UAlbany defensive side who can really give him a problem when he just faces up, right?
Yeah, he wanted to face and just drive, use his athleticism. He doesn't have to play with his back to his basket.
Quick first step. Lindsay, though, could not finish. Great Danes keep it. Briggs for 3, around out. Bell clears to Carlos. 2 free throws upcoming for Carlos as the Great Danes have gone cold on the offensive end. Their last field goal was almost 4 minutes ago. So this is an Albany team that has had some good wins so far this year. They beat Siena, which is a big deal in the Capital Region, a couple of hours east of here. That's called the Albany Cup. Probably their most impressive win was against a Columbia team that was receiving votes in the AP poll last week until that loss. And they won at Dartmouth, the Dartmouth team that beat Boston College this year. So this is a very capable group for Dwayne Killings.
Well, he's getting healthy. They've had a ton of injuries. He has not had his entire team available to him yet, and he still is missing Aaron Reddish.
Yep.
Who will assist as a 3-and-D guy for his team. And when he gets everyone back, they'll challenge in the America East.
Yeah, Reddish, he is out with an injury right now. Suffered a knee injury in practice 8 days ago. And he is a 4th-year senior, a big piece for UAlbany. Well, DeMar Langford, at only 6'4", can be effective in the paint.
Bully ball at its finest.
Bell. Tough into the game, fighting for the offensive rebound, taken away by UAlbany. Lindsay gets it back, left alone. The 3 ball is good.
I thought in the last possession, Carlos could have laid it up. He's just so unselfish.
He had 19 assists in a game last year for Hofstra.
I can see it. I mean, he's always heads up, always looking for a teammate.
Bell with a chance for 3. The junior from Concord, California, now into double figures. And it's been a nice bounce back for him after a couple of cold shooting games. He puts the lead back to 21 for Syracuse.
Got a Chris Bell sighting. It's a great sign if you're an Orange fan. And 1.
I love competing against them. against them.
The marquee for Thursday's showdown can't be big enough to fit all the stars between UConn and Notre Dame, a top 10 showdown that you can only see on ESPN, 7 o'clock Thursday. We've talked about Hannah Hidalgo. We shouldn't leave Paige Beckers out of the discussion because it's so good to have her back and healthy and running things for Gina.
And you can't forget Fudge. You can't forget Miles, Centron, just stars upon stars, and a lot of high-level basketball there. Should be a great game.
Lucas Taylor comes back in for Syracuse. Chris Bell, after completing the three-point play, sits down, having scored 11 points. All the numbers so far lean heavily towards Syracuse, rebounding 32-18, points in the paint 46-20, bench points 27-13. In they go to Justin Neely.
I thought UAlbany would play more zone. I thought they, before this game got to 20, and before they run out of time, I thought they'd try to give it a little zone to see if they can get back in for a Syracuse team that struggled from behind the three-point line.
8th Syracuse turnover turns into 3 points off the fingertips of Damon Strand. First points of the night for the junior from Plainfield, New Jersey.
That's how they want to play. They want to get active with their hands, create deflections and turnovers, and get out in transition.
Freeman back to Carlos out there with Cuff, Majstorovic, and Lucas Taylor. Freeman from the head of the key. He's got it. Well, if he starts knocking down threes, forget it.
You can't guard him because at his length and size, he knocks down his second three. You start closing out to him behind the three-point line, then he starts driving you. And that's the only thing that's his game is lacking, is a consistent three ball coming in. He's only 3 of 19 coming in. He already has 2.
Yeah, perfect 2 for 2 tonight. Just past the midpoint of the second half. Shot clock at 3. Lindsay Majstorovic. He clearly shed the Albany rebounder, even though he is pleading his case to Lee Cassell, saying he hit me in the head first.
Who, me? What did I do? Who, me? There's no way you can see him extend the right arm here before he grabs the ball. You got to elevate, big fella.
Well, Majstorovic has played well off the bench tonight. He's a guy who signed with Syracuse in August.
He has. He looks good. Active on the defensive end, getting the passing lanes. Now UAlbany's heating up behind the three-point line.
Amari Marshall out of Roselle Catholic in New Jersey, now with 12 points. He was an 1,100-point scorer in his 4 years of varsity. Same alma mater as Tyler Roberson, the former Syracuse standout. Carlos, always looking to pass it. Freeman had it poked away. Lindsay up ahead. Strand. Neely's left a lot of points out there tonight.
He has. You can see the length with Freeman and Lampkin, and Davis has bothered him inside. He sped him up a little bit.
Carlos, Freeman, let the defender fly by and then throws it down. And we've got a stoppage as one of the UAlbany players, DeMar Langford Jr., went flying into the scores table, and I believe we have a timeout now called by Syracuse. We'll step away and right back to the Dome after this. (74-55), Syracuse over its in-state rival UAlbany. Just under 9 minutes to go. Randolph Childress. We've talked a lot the last couple of days about the makeup of the Syracuse roster. In this day and age, when the three-point shot is such an integral part of the way basketball teams are constructed, whether it's Syracuse or anybody else in the country, is there a point in time in a season, if you're a coaching staff, that says, you know what, this isn't going to be who we are this year. Can you get away from taking as many threes as maybe the analytics say you should take if you're just not making them that much?
Well, I don't think that the Orange are playing to the analytics because they start in their lineup. They, so like today, they started Davis and they started Lampkin. And neither one of those guys are three-point shooters. And so you have to adjust to your personnel at some point. The Orange come in shooting 26% behind the three-point line. Nobody's going to sit there and continue to shoot that many threes when you're not making them. And it may change the way you have to play. You got to play through your post. You got to drive it. You can control the paint in many ways, off the dribble or play stuff, and they're doing a great job of it tonight.
Good hustle by Lampkin to get back defensively. He deflected the pass, but it went right to the Great Danes, who pulled back to within 15 points. Taylor draws the contact and gets the roll. Lucas Taylor, the senior from Raleigh, North Carolina, with a big shot. And now we've reached our under 8 media timeout, so we'll step away again. Taylor coming off the bench. Part of what the Oranges used as a formula to open up this big 17-point lead. Syracuse 76, UAlbany 59, and there are a couple of areas that have really gone in the favor of Syracuse so far tonight.
They have, and we talked about their struggles from behind the three-point line, and you asked, how do you counter that? This is how you counter it. They got 50 points in the paint. They got bench production, 34 points from their bench. They've only hit 4 threes here tonight. They only average 5 a game, so they're right close to their average, and this is the way they're going to have to play. Can they find consistent contributions from their bench?
When they get back into ACC play, will they be able to succeed without having much of a three-point attack?
I think there's a lot of teams in our league that are struggling, in the ACC that are struggling from the three-point line, and it's a day-to-day, it's a game-to-game thing. You know, you're going to have a game or two where you're knocking down shots, but when you're not a great shooting team, I mean, you're going to have to figure out ways. And then when if you watch the better three-point shooting teams, they still try to control the paint. They still want to get the ball at the rim, the forced rotation. You watch a team like Alabama, as great as they are at shooting threes and as many as they shoot, they want to dominate the paint.
Albany making a push. Off the turnover, Amir Lindsay, who has provided a nice spark off the bench with another three ball.
It's one area they felt they could attack the Oranges in transition. And with this big lineup with Davis and with Lampkin in, they want to put Lampkin on Neely, and sometimes in transition they can't match up.
Behind the back, Davis. I love Eddie Lampkin. He sets a screen with his rear end, kind of just sheds a guy, and then throws a no-look, nonchalant bounce pass right on the money.
Well, he's essentially a playmaker when they get in the half court. We talk about Jaquan Carlos as the point guard, but really that's what Lampkin is. If I'm scouting against him, I would make him a scorer. I'm not helping.
Sweet move by Marshall. And he will head to the line after the foul. I like the little hip check.
Yeah, the middle ball screen is always tough to defend. You come in to help and just keeps his eyes up. Mare Marshall getting to the rack with the left.
Well, if UAlbany can get healthy and stay healthy, led by this guy, Amari Marshall, third-team All-Conference last year. You know, they were picked to finish 7th preseason in the America East. Vermont #1, UMass Lowell #2. Albany is now a decade removed, really, from when they were one of the dominant teams in that conference. But Killings continues to build, and I feel like the pieces are here that they can finish much better than 7th this year.
They've had their injuries early. If they can stay healthy, there'll be a force come conference tournament time in the America East to get a tournament bid. I think you just always anoint Vermont as the champion because they just dominated in a recent time. UMass Lowell probably had the better team a year ago, and I called that conference championship game with Rob Lee, and we both were impressed with UMass Lowell, but also UAlbany's coming. They're talented enough to win the league as well.
Now they've been to the NCAA tournament at the Division I level as Davis is fouled. Albany's been there 5 times, but not since 2015. All those came under former head coach Will Brown. And those some people might remember back in the 2006 NCAA tournament against UConn. They were on the verge of becoming the first 116 upset. They led UConn by double figures well into the second half before the Huskies came back to win the game.
He's super excited about where this program's going. The new facility and the investment in the program, the NIL, and with his coaching pedigree and background, he's been around and worked for a lot of great coaches, from Shaka to Wojo. We talked about him being a ball boy for Cal. Of course, with Kevin Ollie at UConn. He's a great coach with a lot of knowledge, and American East Conference tourney is going to be fun to watch.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention his long run as a Temple assistant under Fran Dunphy.
Absolutely.
You're right, he's got a great list of mentors that he leans on.
And we can't forget the most important one, his mom, who gives him the scouting report every game.
Absolutely.
And she was spot on today. She told him you had to get Lampkin in foul trouble, and they hadn't been able to do so.
Yeah, I don't know if we can get a follow-up text to Thelma, but she was spot on. Make it a 3-man booth next time.
Absolutely.
Her Great Danes closer than they've been since the first half. They were trailing by 13 at the break.
The Oranges let their foot off the gas. They're not defending with the same intensity.
Lampkin just spins around Langford for the layup.
There's just no answer for him.
Marshall left it short. Big offensive rebound and stick back by Langford.
You got to stay home. He's just been so effective in passing the basketball, and when he passes it, you finally stay home, and now he finishes the basket. And that's not just for a big guy, that's for anyone. You start passing the basketball to the open guy, it'll help you become more of an effective scorer.
Good stat line for Lampkin so far, 6 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, just the 1 foul.
And only 1 foul. And they've attacked him. He was the focal point for UAlbany, trying to attack him on the defensive end. Kept himself out of foul trouble. Done a really good job of moving his feet, altered some shots. They know he's there inside. But on the offensive end, as we talked about, it isn't just his scoring. I don't think he's a guy that you can rely on to give you 20 a game, but he's a bigger guy that allows your guards to score. It's almost when him and Jaquan Carlos on the floor together, Carlos can be a little bit more aggressive in a half court. I think he can push it in transition, but in a half court, he needs to become more of a scorer because Lampkin is they're going to play inverted. Let their guards attack the rim, and then Lampkin space bigs with his ability to pass and dribble handoff and ball screens on the perimeter. So,
well, I think it's safe to say Lampkin feels better tonight. He had scored only a total of 3 points or 11 points rather the last 3 games in limited minutes.
Yes.
As he deals with some back trouble. And during practice and shoot around, he is constantly receiving treatment, extra stretching as well, but he has moved pretty well so far tonight.
Looks good. Moving the ball well, scoring when he has to. But he's going to have to become more aggressive and look to score because as he gets into conference play, teams are going to stay home and they're going to scout him and say, hey, you got to score points. And then if he can start becoming more consistent as an offensive player with his ability to pass the basketball, then look out.
Elijah Moore back into the game for the Orange along with Donnie Freeman, the 2 freshmen for Red Autry. Carlos, by the way, is in double figures with assists. He's got 10 helpers to go along with 8 points. Back out to Freeman. Is it assist number 11? Indeed it is, and Freeman is a perfect 3 for 3 from distance tonight.
He had 3 threes coming into the night. He's got 3 tonight. As the Orange drop back into their zone, which I don't think they run enough of. I actually told Autry that. He's probably saying because we're not rebounding out of it, Randolph.
I was going to ask you what his reply was as Neely scores.
Well, most head coaches just listen anyway.
I was going to say.
They don't want to hear anything.
I'm kind of surprised he didn't just walk away.
Well, he's going to point to that possession and say, that's why I'm not running zone. We're not boxing out. We're not rebounding out of it.
Nice driving dish. Freeman in close. Freshman to freshman, the assist to Moore.
I love the way the recruiting is going with the Orange. You gotta love the ceiling of Moore and Freeman. Red is building something special here. Let's hope these guys can stick around and see it through.
Neely from the mid-range. Yeah, the recruiting the last couple of years has gone back to where it's been accustomed to around Syracuse. Coming in next year, Sadiq White is number 16 in the ESPN 100. Kyan Anthony, Carmelo's kid, is number 36, along with Luke Fennell from Australia, Aaron Womack from Milwaukee. If you can keep Freeman his second year, if you can keep Moore, if you can keep certain pieces in place, the trajectory is up.
Yeah, well, you better hope he cools off from shooting threes like this, because if he starts shooting like this, that won't be an option.
Well, he went for 23 against Cornell. He's closing in on that tonight. Rattled home by Neely. Great Danes now with 4 players in double digits. Once again, hanging around, but do they have enough time to make another push? 90-77 Orange.
In the middle of that zone, traditionally, in Syracuse zone that everyone tries to emulate, that middle, that free throw line area is, that's on Eddie Lampkin to come up and guard. Get open and he'll find you. Freeman knocking down a tray ball tonight. He's got 4, and he also can do that.
Thank you, guys. Syracuse up by 13. Doug Sherman, Randolph Childress here at the JMA Wireless Dome. Big performance coming off the bench tonight for the Orange freshman, Donnie Freeman. 22 points, 9 of 12 shooting, multiple dunks, a perfect 4 for 4 from the three-point line.
He's done it all. Used his length on the defensive end of the floor. Got a block. And in a game like this, it's really critical for him because he gets to play even a bigger. Like right now, he can play multiple spots. He can go down and play the 5 if needed.
Well, here's Saturday afternoon's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader. Old rivals Syracuse and Georgetown square off for the 100th time, 2:30 Eastern. And then Jameer Watkins and Florida State take on Tulane in the second game of the Auto Nation Orange Bowl Classic in Sunrise. Up ahead to Chris Bell, and he's fouled.
Great job there by Jared Davis. They got lucky and almost turned it over. Great vision to throw it ahead of the defense, and Bell takes the contact and finishes.
You know, it's been 45 years now since John Thompson lit the match that was the greatest college basketball rivalry in the 80s and 90s between Georgetown and Syracuse. Not the same anymore. But anytime they get together, people of our age certainly think back and remember that when Manley Fieldhouse closed a couple miles from here, they were on a 57-game winning streak, trying to close it out perfect. And Coach Thompson brought his Hoyas in, beat them. And Big John said, Manley Fieldhouse is now officially closed. Light the match.
What a personality. What a legend. I was fortunate enough to be recruited by Coach Thompson, and you're right, that was just an amazing, amazing rivalry, and college basketball misses it.
Were you a Hoyas fan growing
Absolutely,
up?
I was.
You had the gear?
I had everything.
Yeah. Who was your guy for the Hoyas?
Oh, wow. So many guys. I love them all, from Mark Tillman to Anthony to you name it. I mean, David Wingate. I can't say all this, and I'm sitting here, but I grew up in Washington, D.C. Like
you did. I know.
You're an Orange guy.
I know.
You know, I don't want to go against Boeheim and.
Well, the battles.
And you got my guy Moten here. I told you what Sherman
building.
was. I grew up watching Sherman.
As in Sherman Douglas.
Sherman Douglas.
Of course.
Are you kidding me?
They had it going, and anytime Georgetown came to this building or Syracuse went down to the Cap Center, it was must-see television and a hot ticket. It was awesome.
It was a flat-out war.
It was awesome. So anyhow, it's good that both schools, in spite of the fact that Syracuse, of course, in the ACC now, Georgetown still in the Big East, that they keep it going. And everybody understands it's not the same and probably will never be the same again. But it's still pretty cool to see those two brands together.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just, you can't tell the story of Syracuse basketball or Georgetown basketball without telling them about each other.
So again, that's coming up on Saturday on the ACC Network. Pressure broken. Chris Bell going to have another chance for a three-point play.
Good to see Chris Bell get it going. He needs to see the ball go through the net. As Syracuse gets in a conference play, it hasn't just been from the three-point line. He's been attacking the rim, and when you're struggling as a shooter, you need to do a better job of getting to the line. He's got 5 free throws here. Going to the line for his 6th. Just seeing the ball go through the basket does wonders for your confidence.
Yeah, he's got 17 points without benefit of a made three-pointer.
And that's not his strong suit. You usually don't see that of him. It's usually get it from behind the three-point line or he doesn't produce. So credit to him for making an adjustment.
Amari Marshall cut off along the baseline. Justin Neely's had a nice second half. He's got a double-double. The length of Freeman is going to be a problem for him.
Yes, that time he's at the center spot now. And putting him at the center now, he's able to move around up and back in the zone and move his feet against guys trying to penetrate, because that's what Neely wants to do to bigs, drive them, but he's not going to get by Freeman in his quickness and length and athleticism.
So there's Jaquan Carlos.
Big time performance tonight from him.
Yeah, 8 points, 12 assists, coming off the 8 points, 7 assists last time out against Notre Dame. Out of bounds off of Davis, the last to touch, and so UAlbany will keep it with 1:28 on the clock.
He's got to make that front of that 1-and-1 though. He's been perfect tonight, but he's got to do it. I got to get on the general for that. No point guard. He's had a great game tonight. Double-digit assists. Had a chance there to get a double-double.
Strand with his second made 3 tonight. You called him the general. You're in the dome, and you called somebody not Sherman Douglas the general.
You know why I said it. I just said my guy Sherman Douglas is.
If Sherm's watching, I don't know if he wants you to use that nickname for somebody
He knows.
else.
He's my favorite. I know for some of you all, it's the Pearl, but for me, it's Sherman Douglas, man. That's who I grew up loving.
Yeah, it's one of the great debates, Pearl or Sherm. And, of course, Sherm backed up Pearl as a freshman. Then Pearl, after 3 years, went off to the NBA. And with Sherm stirring the drink, they made it all the way to the Final Four and very nearly beat Indiana. I'm not sure if Pearl stayed for a senior year. They have that same type of year. Sherm was the one who changed that team to be able to do that. But Pearl was Pearl. He was one of one.
He's no question about it. He epitomized New York while the other one epitomized the DMV.
Yeah, that's a good point. Carlos with a double-double, 10 points, 12 assists. Freeman gives up the foul as Neely attacked him again. What's the ceiling for number 1-and-1 this year?
Well, if he keeps shooting like this, then you have no shot of him walking on campus next year. I guess that'll shore it up, because that's the only knock you're going to have on his game, and that's things he's got to improve on. He's got to get physically stronger. And his mechanics aren't bad. I think he can do a better job of getting ready to shoot when he knows the ball's coming. He's not going to go 4-4 from behind the line a lot, but he's definitely capable of making shots.
Yeah, it's been an easy 22 points and 6 rebounds tonight for Freeman. Foul given will send Carlos back to the line.
But he can continue to get improved with his ball handling as well. I think on the next level he'll project as a 3, and so guarding and defending on the perimeter. See coaching his freshman up. Elijah Moore is going to be good as well. I mean, he's fun to watch. These freshmen are talented. They both have finished the year as double-figure scorers.
Yeah, Moore came in averaging 8.5 points a game. Freeman nearly 13 per game.
And I think Moore is really critical for the group because of three-point shooting. As Bell gains his confidence, the next guy's got to be Elijah Moore. Got to be pleased if you're Red Archer with your team's performance today. You hadn't taken advantage and put away a team all year. And
well, we wondered last night during practice, this morning during shoot-around, watching this team, where the point's going to come from. And then they've got 102 on the board.
Exactly.
So there are some options. Freeman now with his new career high in his young Syracuse career with those 24 points. And that will give it back to UAlbany with 1.7 on the clock.
Everyone's chipped in. But a ton of assists. The ball's been moving. Everybody's moving it. They're getting off of it. Moving bodies, moving the ball. When you do that, you don't care who scores it. Just the open man scores it. And you do that, you become hard to beat.
And again, J.J. Starling will come back at some point in January. His teammates pick him up with a victory today for Red Autry. The team improves to 5-4 with a 102-85 victory over UAlbany.
Great performance for the Orange. I thought defense